Fort McHenry.
The attack lasted for 25 hours.
There it is. It's pretty close to Baltimore. It's surprising that they weren't already in naval gunfire range.
The next morning, when the guns finally fell silent, a young lawyer stood on the deck of an American diplomatic ship and nervously peered through his telescope. He had been asked by President James Madison to sail out to the British fleet under a flag of truce and help negotiate the release of an American prisoner of war.
The
negotiations were successful, but the British believed that he and his party had learned too much of their plan for attacking Baltimore, so they weren't allowed to return to their ship until just before the battle began. He watched the entire affair unfold from a position nearly 8 miles downriver from the fort, and that's where he found himself early that September morning. He knew the battle had reached its end, but he did not know the outcome. He continued to look through his telescope in the direction of the fort as the smoke and the clouds cleared. And what did he see in the distance by the dawn's early light? An enormous 30-foot high, 42-foot long American flag with 15 broad stripes and 15 bright stars flying triumphantly over Fort McHenry. Our flag was still there. It was at this moment that he knew the British attack had been unsuccessful, and Baltimore was saved. He was so moved, so proud, so inspired, that he began to write down the words to a poem which became known as the Defense of Fort McHenry.
Wasn't actually the national anthem.
That young lawyer's name was Francis Scott Key, and today, his words, set to music, go by another name: the Star-Spangled Banner, the national anthem of the United States.
Starting in 1933, though. It took a hot minute.
And now, we invite you to listen to the words of Francis Scott Key and imagine how he must have felt that September morning over 200 years ago, at the moment he first saw, from these very waters, the Star-Spangled Banner waving proudly above Fort McHenry. Is a grassy area known as Canton Waterfront Park, the site of Baltimore's Korean War Memorial, where you will find the names of all 527 Marylanders that died in the conflict.